guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a recommendation video that my members actually requested. So every week for my members and my patrons, I tell them all the videos I'm posting that week, and I had no idea what I wanted to post today, and two of them were like, why not some romantic suspense? And I was like, yes, please. The last time I did a romantic suspense video was 10 months ago, pre-Nora Roberts fan me, and so I thought it'd be the perfect time. I have like 7 books that I want to share with you. 3 of them are some Nora books that I've been reading that I've been really enjoying and I want to share with you, and then the other ones are romantic suspense. These are different than like dark romances. I feel like there are a lot of dark romances with like serial killers, like Haunting Adeline, and like the ones by Trisha Wolfe and stuff like that. I don't consider those romantic suspense. I just consider those like dark romance, like There Are No Saints by Sophie. Like those are dark romances with a lot of like heightened emotions and danger, but they're not really the genre that is this. So I am here with my favorites that I've read recently, and some of them are more contemporary with like a little bit of suspense thrown in. I forgot a book, hold on. But I'm a sucker for a book that has a lot of action and suspense because there's like a heightened level of emotion in them, along with the romance, which I really love. So I will go ahead and get to my recommendations. I will link my previous video down below, but also let me know your recommendations as well because I need all the romantic suspense recs and I can't wait to read more. The first one I have is an author that I love her romantic suspense for, and I actually had a couple of hers in my previous recommendation video, and that is Bad Mother by Mia Sheridan. This one I think was being marketed as a like romantic thriller, and I love this one. I listened to an audio. It was free in the audio KU Read and Listen, so because it's Montlake, and Montlake is a publishing house from Amazon, I believe. And so this one, our heroine's an investigator, and she is invited back to her hometown to investigate a serial killer, and he seems kind of fixated on her, but he is leaving these clues for her to catch him, and it's all about her trying to get the clues, piece them together, and figure it out. So it feels very like CSI, NCIS kind of thing, and I loved watching NCIS growing up, so I love all those vibes. And in this one, she actually has to ask for the help of her ex, and it's a second chance romance, which is one of my favorite tropes, and I really love that. Her ex used to be a famous poker player, a professional poker player, and so there was a clue left at the scene that connected him to it, not as a suspect, but like as part of the investigation. So they need his help, and it got so good. The twist at the end, I was absolutely not expecting. I think Mia Sheridan, her endings are so good, because I had recently read Travis while I was reading this because I got to moderate an event with Mia Sheridan at Joseph Best Booksellers, so I wanted to like be up to date on her new releases because I've been a fan for a long time, like with Archer's Voice, and I was reading Becoming Calder. Like I love her books, but I hadn't read her new stuff, so I read this one and I read Travis at the same time, and just the way she punches you at the end, I'm obsessed with, and this one was so good. So definitely did not see that coming, and there is like a very conniving villain who loves seeing people struggle. I don't know what I want to say, but it was really twisted and really good, so I highly recommend this. The next one I have is a contemporary romance with some romantic suspense thrown in, more so near the end, but there's still like something's going on, and it's like tickling you in the back of the head kind of thing until you like get to the moment at the end, and that is Love Me Today by A.L. Jackson. There's a really good twist in here at the end too that has to do with the romantic suspense, which I loved. The heroine is a horseback riding instructor hired by the hero, who is really, really rich, moved into town, and he has a daughter that he wants to learn how to horseback ride, so he hires her even though he really doesn't like her because they did not get off on the right foot, and then he ends up hiring her to be his nanny. Someone is like finagling around the ranch, and then it all culminates at the end where you have to figure out like who the bad guy is, what they want, and how to get out of the bad situation. So I love when they're a good contemporary romance with just like weaving in a little bit of romantic suspense that really comes to a head at the end. So this one, I really, really love the romance. I've been talking about it for a while on my channel. You guys know how obsessed I am with this book, and I loved it. And I've heard A.L. Jackson writes really good romantic suspense. I'm excited to read her other series because I think that has more as well, and I just love how it was balanced with the romance in the story, and you need to read it. Okay, before I get into the 2 I always talk about, because you guys know what other author is going to be in this video, I'm going to talk about my Nora Roberts that I've loved. I think I will talk about my favorite and go to least favorite. So my favorite one so far is Black Hills. This one definitely has a really good romance because it's second chance, which is my favorite, and it starts out with the heroine growing up on her parents' ranch and the hero coming to stay with his grandparents. So the hero's parents really don't care about him, so he stays at their ranch in the summer and works with them and sees our heroine, and they become really close friends, and it's kind of like a childhood friends to lovers as they grow older. And then something happens because the hero doesn't always come back like to town. He tries to visit when he can to be with his grandparents and work for them, but something happens in college where he leaves, and the heroine is really mad, but she has always had a dream of opening an animal sanctuary on the land that her family has near where the ranch is, so like in her hometown area. And so she ends up opening the animal sanctuary, and she has all these like wild cats and all these different exotic animals that need safety and need to recover or can't survive in the wild on their own. And so she has just returned from a really long trip to someone sabotaging the sanctuary, and so she wants to go and check it out herself. The hero is back in town to help out his grandparents because his grandfather fell recently, so he is really running the farm, and she hears he's back in town, doesn't want anything to do with him, but he is like, you are not going anywhere alone when someone is doing things to your property. So he is like, I'm helping you. Very forced proximity. They end up having to like camp out together because she's going to go check on some traps she has, and like why cameras aren't working and why like gates are left open, and someone is sabotaging. They kill one of the animals, so do know there's an animal death in here, but they are obviously after her, and it's not really a surprise who the person is. It's more so like you're on a journey of figuring out how they stop that person, how they figure out who that person is, and if anybody's gonna die, because people do die in here. And I had so much fun reading this, and obviously they're falling in love in the process. They're addressing old wounds and like why they broke up and figuring that out, and I had so much fun reading this. Favorite Nora book so far. Highly impressed. This is definitely the one people told me to read the most, and I enjoyed it. I still have a very big TBR for Nora. I'm aware. I know some of my subscribers have been hounding me to read certain ones, especially one that I do have on audio, which I will hopefully get to soon. But the next favorite of mine, I think I'm going to have to go with The Obsession. So in this one, our heroine actually finds her father, who is like brutally murdering and torturing women in this place. She ended up turning her father in, and so she has kind of been in hiding because people know her last name, and they did a whole documentary about it that she didn't want to be a part of, and so she's pretty much sold out wherever she goes. So she really tries to fly under the radar. She's a photographer. She travels all over the world, never putting down roots and never letting people in and know who she is. And so she finally kind of settles down in a small town, and the hero decides to check her out and see why she's in town, and he is really infuriating. He was the reason why I didn't like fully love this one, because he was frustrating in the beginning. But I really love their relationship, and he kind of catches on really quickly that she's hiding something and puts the pieces together, and someone is now taking women similar to how her father did. And so they're like, is it a copycat or what's going on? Who is this person? And so I had so much fun reading this one. Definitely one of my favorites from Nora, even though I've only read 3. I think I still gave this like 4.5 stars. Really entertaining, and I really love the romance in here, even though the hero was a little bit annoying. She had a lot of secrets because she did not want people judging her because of what her dad did. So very, very good. I like that one. And then the next one was just a little too slow for me. What I love about Nora is she does a lot of research in her books. So for the Animal Sanctuary one, you knew a lot about like big cats and opening a sanctuary. And then in The Obsession, there was like a lot about photography. And in this one, there is a lot about hacking. So we have The Witness, where it starts out with the heroine. She decides to break the rules that her parents have. They're very strict. I think it's only her mother. It's very, very strict. She breaks the rules and decides to go out to a club with her friend, and she's so tech savvy that she like created their fake IDs no problem, and they end up going to this club, meeting these guys who end up being like part of the mafia, and she witnesses a murder, and that's why it's called The Witness. She goes under witness protection, and these people are coming after her and kill the people protecting her. So she completely disappears. She is like off the grid. You cannot trace her, and she is hiding out. And this one, I get these two confused because I'm pretty sure she ends up moving somewhere, and she is like super security like heavy, and the guy comes to like scope her out. So like both of these, I'm pretty sure she moves to a new place, and so I get the heroes confused of like why they're stopping by her. But he stops by and is very intrigued by her, and then won't leave her alone, and I really enjoyed this one. I will say though, this one got pretty slow in the middle. So she is obviously concerned about these guys tracking her down, and she's very aware of everything that's going on because she has really high-tech security, and she is a really good hacker and a really good like computer programmer. So that was really cool to read about, but this one was a little bit slower than the rest. So that's why I didn't love this as much, but it was still a really solid read. I think I still give it like 3.5 stars. So if you don't mind like a slower pace and a slow or burn romance, I think you would like this one. But as a romance reader, I like those other two better. Okay, I have 2 books left. So the first one I'm gonna go with might be a surprise, but I was surprised. I was like, give me the romantic suspense at the end here, and that is Keep Her Safe by QB Tyler. This is not a romantic suspense, but it is a forbidden romance, and it's very, very steamy, and we have a little bit of a stalker situation going on. We have a little bit of a dangerous situation going on because the hero is her bodyguard, and he ends up falling for her, and they've kind of been pining after each other, but secretly he knows that she likes him. She has no idea he likes her, and she finally is out of a relationship, and he's been working for her for 5 years, and he is, I think, like 10 or 12 years older than her, and finally she makes a move, and he doesn't deny her this time, and she is still supposed to be dating her ex, who is an actor as well, and they are supposed to like keep it up appearances for like award season, so she can't publicly say she's dating him, but they like to sneak around. And they like to tease each other. I was dying over the tension in this book, and we have a stalker situation. So she gets creepy messages, and something happens at the end where the hero has to kind of go all ballistic and protective to protect his woman, and I really enjoyed it. So if you love a forbidden age gap, steamy contemporary romance with some romantic suspense written at the end, I think you would like this one. Like I said, it's not full-blown romantic suspense. It's definitely primarily a romance, but I enjoyed that thrown in at the end. I could not do a romantic suspense video without talking about Catherine Cowles. She is like my mentor for Nora Roberts. She loves Nora, gives me all the good recommendations, and she writes the most amazing romantic suspense. I love her for it. She's really the reason why I got into the genre, and so this one's really good because this one's a second chance romance, and our hero and heroine fell in love in high school, and then there was a mass shooting in their town, and so the heroine was injured, and the hero felt very guilty for not being there to protect her, so he is there to comfort her afterwards and then disappears and does not come back. Now he's back in town to take care of his family because his dad had a heart attack and he wants to be there for his family, which means coming face to face with people he abandoned, including our heroine, and it seems like people who survived the shooting are now being picked off one by one in their town, and so the hero gets very protective of her, and I loved it. We also have book 2 in the series though, which I didn't bring over with me because I feel like you need to start with book 1, but that book 2 also has romantic suspense. All of her books do, and that one has a very protective hero who literally says like, who hurt you, who did this to you, and that one's a Friends to Lovers, and so I love her books so much. They're so addicting, and I love the romantic suspense in them, so if you love that and you want the small town contemporary setting, read Catherine Cowles. And those are my absolute favorite romantic suspenses that I've been reading. I hope you got some good recommendations. Please let me know your favorite romantic suspense authors. Let me know your favorite Nora Roberts books so I can pick those up. I've only read 3 by her, and they've been solid reads. Like the lowest rating was like a 3.5, but Black Hills blew it out of the water. I do have a ton more by her that I really want to read, so let me know your favorites. If there's any like on KU or any currently publishing that you really love as well that are really romantic heavy, let me know. I would love the recs, and that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.